Welcome to the Coleman Coliseum for tonight's gymnastics matchup, featuring the 9th-ranked Crimson Tide of Alabama as they host the #1 Oklahoma Sooners. I'm Bart Connor, along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. Now, Oklahoma is the reigning NCAA championships, and of course, they're led by the magnificent Maggie Nichols, two-time defending NCAA all-around champion. And Kathy Johnson-Clark, she is on pace to be one of the greatest gymnasts in NCAA history.
Without a doubt, and her coach, KJ Kindler, says that she is in the best of her collegiate career health-wise. She just feels good, and it shows in her gymnastics. There's a relaxation there. She's so confident, but always pushing herself toward perfection, but staying relaxed.
6 times Alabama has won the NCAA championship, and they have a lot to be excited about, not only because of their returning class, but the addition of some really outstanding freshmen, Kathy.
And these freshmen have made an immediate impact this season. This is the key to a successful rebound year. That and then the sting that those returning athletes felt not making it to nationals has inspired them, because they never want to feel that feeling again. They are ready to go this season.
So this is dual meet competition. The host team, the Crimson Tide, will begin on the vault. The visiting team, the Sooners, will start on the uneven bars. The rules: 6 gymnasts for each team on each event. Just the best 5 scores on each event count towards the team total. And here we go with Maddie Dash, the senior from Lenexa, Kansas.
Opens with a fine full twisting Yurchenko. That's a 9.95 start value. That's about as clean a vault as I have seen Maddie perform in college. We're going to see bigger vaults. We may see a vault with cleaner form, but that is her best. Great to start off like that.
And for the Sooners, their leadoff performer is junior Anastasia Webb from Morton Grove, Illinois, second-team All-American on this event last year.
And wait till you see the huge gymnastics on this event. Look at the height, the amplitude on that packed salto down to the low bar, and then right back up to the high bar with a very difficult Van Leeuwen. Sets up a unique dismount, double front with a half twist, and a stuck landing. She almost did not get that stick. It's kind of borderline, but she did the quick salute to the judge to sell it.
Fantastic. She competed in 15 of 17 meets in the all-around for the Sooners last year.
That is just beautiful. The height was spectacular. Good form. Little leg separation, but of course we're seeing it on this replay from the end. The judges are sitting on the side. Hard to see those legs separate.
Here's one of those freshmen you were talking about, Luisa Blanco, the freshman from Dallas, Texas.
And this is a pretty full twisting Yurchenko. Very nice form. Excellent distance from the table. Not quite the height that I'd like to see. She gave up a little height to go far.
Head coach Dana Duckworth happy with that performance. By the way, Maddie Dash led them off with a 9.8.
So check out the distance from the table. She had a little bit of angle in her shoulders on the block, but 7 feet from the table. Excellent distance.
We go back to the bars for the Oklahoma Sooners. This is exciting. Olivia Troutman. She hasn't competed this year until this meet. In fact, she broke her heel in December in an inter-squad meet, and she is normally a spectacular 3 or 4 event contributor for the Sooners. Just a sophomore from Champlin, Minnesota, the same club as Maggie Nichols. But it's good to see her get the call tonight to do bars. She's been doing routines, but she hasn't done many landings on that ankle.
I want you to see how straight she keeps her body. Really tucks that head, keeps it in line with her arms. That creates such a straight line for the judges to see those handstands and not deduct. They want to see them right on top of the bar in that vertical position. Really nice job on the double layout, and what a landing on a recovering broken heel.
They were expecting only to get her in the lineup by mid-February or later, but what a great experience for the sophomore from Minnesota.
Watch this. See how flat her back is. Nice to see that. She's a little shy of that handstand position, and even though the judges give them that 10%, that 10 degrees, they really want to see it on top.
Anastasia Webb led them off with a 9.85. We're back to vault now. Shea Mahoney, the senior from Illinois.
Wow, Shea put together a very pretty vault in the air. She was a little short on the rotation. Notice how her chest was down a little forward as she landed. She finessed it beautifully, but they'll take off for that.
By the way, for freshman Luisa Blanco, their high score there so far, 9.85.
Right there you can see how she tries to lift her head at the very end to lift the chest on the landing.
We go back to the bars for the Sooners. Olivia Troutman gets a 9.9. That's a career high. This is not her forte, so what a great moment for her, following up Anastasia Webb's 9.85. That brings up the junior Carrie Thomas.
Watch this skill right here. It's a toe-on blind change. Does that half turn, maintains really nice form. Good distance from the bar on the release move. A little bit short on that handstand on the bail to the low bar. Really like the way that she glues those legs together. Takes up speed for the dismount, takes that double layout a little too far out, and was short on rotation, took a big step forward.
Former transfer from University of Ella Burgess, another one of those young freshmen hoping to contribute right from the get-go for the Crimson Tide.
She has a more powerful full twisting Yurchenko. Same vault we've seen from all of them, but you could see how it rises off the table. Really got a good block. Might have been a little piked in the air throughout that full twist.
Alabama's off to a good start. The first three vaults all improved scores over last week, their opening meet against Auburn at Auburn.
Watch the height here. Her legs, you can see, are a little bit apart. They're staggered, but nice height above the table. Good combination and balance between height and distance.
Ella Burgess, just like Luisa Blanco, joined the team at the semester break, so they've only been at the Crimson Tide program for about 2 weeks. Here is Jade Degovea now for the Sooners.
And this is her debut year for this event. Look at the gorgeous, exquisite form on that release move on high bar. Single bar release moves get a 1/10 of a point bonus this year. So nice to see her in this event, really showing off impeccable form, straight body swing, a little bit awkward on that full twisting double back, but managed to land it with no movement of the feet.
Score for Carrie Thomas before her for the Sooners, by the way, was a 9.75.
Watch this. Beautiful height, nice distance. Her arms were a little bit bent on the regress. Half in, half out. I'd like to see that dismount go up a little bit higher.
Oklahoma is replacing several routines from last year, so it's good to have Jade Degovega in the bar lineup. Lexi Graber, the junior from Cape Coral, Florida, now for Alabama.
This is her first 10-0 start value vault. So 1.5 twist, big vault, but a big step on the landing. So that 1/2 of a point she gained by doing a more difficult vault. She gave up some on the landing.
3 scores before her, all 9.85s for the Crimson Tide. Good vault effort so far.
1.5 twist, the vault will land facing away. I love that she opened up those arms, got a little soft in the knees right before the landing. And of course, the larger deduction is that step.
Here's the young lady we're excited about seeing. This is freshman Reagan Smith. We'll talk about what an incredible athlete she has had and a career as an elite athlete. Good to see her in collegiate competition this year.
First look at a very difficult single bar release. That Rikna at the beginning out of a stalder into the reverse hat. Really nice to see that in college gymnastics. Much better on that double layout. Sometimes it gets a little whippy, but that one was just right on.
Jade Degovea before her, by the way, a 9.925.
This is gorgeous. That stalder into the reverse hat. She got more amplitude this week than last. Little trouble on that glide after she dropped to low bar, but look at that dynamite landing. Great
so
job.
From one Olympic alternate, Reagan Smith, to Shallon Olson, Canadian national team member and a member of their Olympic team.
Huge vault
hoping
for
to
them.
compete in 2020. This is a big vault.
Big opportunity, a double twisting Yurchenko. It's a 10-0 start value.
Lexi Graber had a 9.9, even with that large step.
Really cranks those twists. It's amazing how easily she performs the 2 twists. They're going to get her on that landing, though. A little bit of a pike down at the end. But she has worked so hard to clean up her form. No doubt she has fantastic difficulty. Let's watch the form in slow motion. Much better. She's tighter in that position. The knees got a little soft and a little tight in the hips at the end of the vault.
Here is magnificent Maggie Nichols
And
to wrap it up for the Sooners on the bars.
this routine literally breathes. Little short on that cast to handstand. She sometimes connects those two release moves.
Score for Reagan Smith before her, a 9.95.
What I love about this bar work is how straight her arms are. It's as if she has no elbows. There's no give in them. There's no muscle. And she can finesse a landing better than anybody I know. So as I said, sometimes she connects these release moves if she's in the right position. She chose to cast back up, so this cast right there was a little.
Outstanding first rotation. KJ Kindler congratulating Maggie Nichols. When we come back, we'll give her score and update the standings after first of 4 rotations here in Tuscaloosa. And inside Coleman Coliseum for this matchup between Alabama and Oklahoma tonight, there is Reagan Smith. I'm Bart Connor along with my fellow Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson-Clark, and without question, one of the most exciting newcomers to the NCAA season this year is Reagan Smith from OU.
Everyone in the gymnastics community knows Reagan Smith's gymnastics, her journey through elite gymnastics. She's such a well-respected, well-loved athlete. And we know the magic of collegiate gymnastics. So taking this opportunity to introduce her to college gymnastics is so exciting, and everybody's rooting for her.
She's got a lot of fans out there. If you're not familiar with her accolades, check this out. Won gold at the 2018 U.S. World Championships with the U.S. World Team, U.S. National Champion, American Cup Champion, alternate to the 2016 Olympics, and she decided to forego her shot at the next Olympics to compete in college, and that means she joins the magnificent Maggie Nichols for the Oklahoma Sooners. And after the break, we'll take a look at her incredible college career and what it has meant to her to be a member of the Oklahoma gymnastics team.
Janko full. They were really hoping for a very clean, pretty vault. Of course, they would have loved a stuck landing from that first vaulter. Judges will have to take a pretty significant deduction for that large hop.
Brooke Wines, one of the freshmen that joined the OU Sooner program this year. They have a lot of influx of new talent as well, in addition to people like Reagan Smith. Winter Childers, on the other hand, is a seasoned senior for Alabama.
And limited to only this event as a senior because of her knee. It's been a little bit frustrated, but she has committed to this one event to contribute to the team performance. So far, really nice job. Just a couple little form areas in the beginning of the routine. Hit nice handstand there. And check out this dismount. It's cool. Half in, double back out. Good landing.
Alabama returns 5 of the 6 routines from last year's final lineup. So a fair amount of seniority in their bars lineup.
So the gymnasts are required to go from low bar to high bar and back down. They have to make 3 exchanges. And the more difficulty you can show on that, love that dismount. Half in, back out. Well done.
Allie Stern now for the Sooners on vault.
Their first 1.5. Look at the rise off the table. Good amplitude, large step on that landing. At this point in the season, I think most of the programs are just trying to go for big vaults. They will begin to control those landings once they have really cooked in the amplitude they need for these vaults, because that's what's going to separate them. You want a big vault and a controlled vault.
A lot of teams are measured by the number of 10-0 vaults they can get in their lineup. The Sooners had 7 of them last year to choose from. This year they have 5. Winter Childers for Alabama got a 9.85. That brings up Kylie Dixon.
Also a bar specialist, at least in this competition. I know she's training vault. Really nice form. Those legs are glued together on these early skills. Nice straight arm swing. big to catch up. That is one of the hugest release moves in college gymnastics. Big, long, tall body, and she uses it perfectly on this event. Really shows off long lines and big air. She has every reason to be excited. Look at the nice straight back and set up for this. And over 2 feet, almost 2.5 feet above the bar. Perfect distance so she could reach out with stretched arms to make the regress. Lovely.
Back to the Sooners, this is Jade Degovea. Update on the scores. Brooke Wines had a 9.75. Allie Stern, for her 1.5, had a career high 9.9.
Another 1.5. Very clean. Nice job keeping those legs together throughout the whole vault. Look at the distance. She landed almost face to face with her coach at the end of the match.
Kathy, you know, the coaches often talk about air sense. They said Jade has great air sense. Point out exactly what that means.
Well, you want to be able to feel. Some athletes are visual, so they will actually spot and look for certain things, look for the landing. Some just have this uncanny feeling within. It's like an inner gyroscope, really, so that you know where you are relative to the floor and the equipment at all times.
Brings up Jade Lexi Graber, the junior from Cape Coral, Florida. Degovea's score is in. It's a 9.9 for the Sooners. They have two 9.9s and a 9.75 over there. Kylie Dixon before Graber, a 9.875.
Her single bar release comes up right here. It's called a ginger. She always separates her legs just a little bit as she regrafts the bar. Bail to handstand. She doesn't quite have as straight a body as we saw from her teammate just before her. Big hop on that landing, but a good hit routine. They are on a roll.
Anastasia Webb will be next to go for the Sooners. Kathy, in the pre-meet warm-ups, you were really impressed with the technique the Sooners use for their drills.
I love this warm-up. It really teaches them to block up and not snap their feet down too soon. They wait, so then you can set up the after flight of the vault and get that full twist and the somersault in. That's when you're going to set up a good landing.
Anastasia Webb, the junior.
A 1.5. She uses that technique where you can see the full there. She almost spots that full position and then just turns and looks for the half.
The number 3 returning scorer on vault for the Sooners, averaging over a 9.9 all year, last year.
Everyone has just a little bit different technique on this vault. It's really interesting to watch.
Lexi Graber had a 9.85, and that brings up sophomore Jenzy Givens, Newport Beach, California.
And we talked to her in the warm-ups. This is her only event, the one she focuses on. She's had how many surgeries?
6 surgeries for compartment syndrome on both legs, cumulative. It's amazing.
But she is sunny and bright, is so excited to be at Alabama. Oh, wow. That could have gone the other way. She did a beautiful job of saving it, just gave up the leg separation. Really nice straight body swing. Lovely floaty double layout. Chest might have been a little down on that, but wow, I love the way she pulled out that move in the middle of the routine.
As much as she's been through in pain and suffering, she just sort of radiates sunshine when you see her face. Sports Center tonight after the Blazers and Mavs with Scott Van Pelt. He'll have all the top plays and reactions from Dallas, plus the surging Grizzlies go for their 7th straight win. And Mina Kimes on what to watch for in Sunday's conference championships. Sports Center after the NBA, also available on the ESPN app. Anastasia Webb had their third 9.9 in a row, and that sets up Maggie Nichols.
And I can almost predict a stick, because this is somebody. I mean,
that's unreal, Kathy.
That's not even bold, okay? I have to say, there is just something so uncanny
she really
about
talking
her
about air sense.
Ability. It's air sense. I mean, the experience that she brings, the repetition, but there's just something else, something so special. 5.5 feet up, legs straight, toes pointed, and it doesn't matter where she is before the landing, she's going to find it.
I was talking to assistant coach Tom Haley the other day about her, and he said, you know, some of our athletes are gymnasts and some are athletes. And he said, Maggie is both. She's a remarkable athlete, and that's how she finds the ground. Shea Mahoney now on bars. Jenzy Gibbons before her, a 9.875.
As I said at the top of the show, this team is so prepared for the season. Everything about their gymnastics is just cleaner, better. There's so much energy there, but you can tell they put the work in. Got a little wonky in the air, but I love that she kept her form.
Alabama, all scores are 9.85 and above on bars, so very impressive. But get this, folks, after 3 9.9s in a row for the Sooners on vault, Maggie Nichols gets a perfect 10. You predicted it, and that would be Maggie's 18th perfect 10 of her career. She is chasing the record that is held by Jenny Hansen, which is 28. Maggie off to a great start this year. Evie Schofer will be the final vaulter for the Sooners in what will be an outstanding team score in this event.
And yet another 10-0 start value here. 1.5, but in the tuck position.
Oh my goodness.
I think it surprised her. That was funny. The look on her face, like, wow, I can't move. That was awesome.
So that tucked 1.5 Yurchenko is the same value as the laid out position. In some ways, it's a little harder to keep your body straight during the tucked position. And we welcome our new audience joining us after the basketball game. Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark. We are here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama with two of the finest gymnastics programs in history. The Crimson Tide, number 9 ranked, hosting the number 1 Oklahoma Sooners. And this is an exciting freshman for Alabama, Makari Doggett, Kathy. We are talking about some really exciting additions to this Crimson Tide team.
And we are watching one right here. She is flying high and beautifully. What a routine. Good for her. Excellent job. And that was a great rotation for Alabama. You can see how excited they are.
Freshman from Pickering, Ontario, did her club training at Buckeye Gymnastics, 4-time member of the Junior Olympic National Team.
Look at her keep her form throughout all those release moves. And this double layout, legs glued together. Very few gymnasts can do that and can survive us watching from the end and not see daylight between her legs. Awesome.
Well, the Sooners off to an incredible start with a couple of spectacular performances on the vault and a perfect 10 from Maggie Nichols. 9 scores of 9.9 or better for the Sooners. And there is their head coach, KJ Kindler. How impressed are you with the start of this team here in Alabama tonight?
Yeah, they are really on their game. We had a great warm-up. I felt like they had to fight for every single 10th in this great environment, wild environment. Both teams are hitting. It's really exciting. And they fought for every 10th, so really excited about that.
KJ, I'm so excited to hear the music, see all the choreography. What do you hope to see in this next rotation?
Really solid landings, a little bit of charisma in these floor routines, and definitely trusting their training and going for it.
Awesome. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, gymnastics continues from Tuscaloosa. Two of the finest programs in the history of the sport, and Maggie Nichols gave us a thrill with a perfect 10 in the second rotation. Well deserved. In this competition, both Alabama and Oklahoma having an outstanding night. Season high for Oklahoma on the vault in that rotation at 49.625. A season high for Alabama on the bars, a 49.425. So Oklahoma leads by .525. Maddie Desch, the leadoff performer, the senior from Lenexa, Kansas. Alabama, keep in mind, is .525, basically a half a point behind the Oklahoma Sooners. So if they want to keep it close in the team competition tonight, they're going to need a strong effort on beam in this rotation right now.
And Maddie Desch is in the best shape of her collegiate career. You can see how confident she is, how poised she is as she moves through this balance beam routine. Very nice, quick little cover, adds that half turn, maintaining great balance. Lost a little bit of form at the height of those leaps and jumps, but she's worked so hard on trying to get those legs straight, toes pointed.
Here's an athlete who had international experience of her own, competed for the U.S. in the 2015 Pan Am Games. They earned a silver medal in the all-around.
Superb job, nice opening routine for Alabama, great start.
You can't underestimate how important that lead-off performance is,
Oh,
Kathy.
absolutely. It sets the tone, and you want to build on the trust you have in your teammates. You know the training's there, the preparation is there, and you share everything in college gymnastics, including the pressure, and that's important.
Competed 9 times on beam last year, averaged just over 9.8. Jordan Draper gets the leadoff call for the Sooners on floor exercise. This was the event where the Sooners were a little bit vulnerable last year. And of course, they're without some of their stars, including people like Brenna Dowell, who graduated.
Opens with a high double back. Watch those landings. You want to see perfect control on the 2 feet before they step into the lunge.
She competed in 13 meets for the Sooners on floor in 2019. Had a career high 9.95 against Florida.
Big pass this season. Front full to front full. That's now worth 0.3 of a point bonus. Beautiful straddle position in that leap.
Coach KJ Kindler does the choreography and the music for most of these routines. She really likes to try to find unusual pieces that you might not have heard before.
She does a great job bringing out the personality of her athletes while also showcasing their strengths, what they do best. Really nice start for Oklahoma. I'm so excited to see all of these routines because, as you said, KJ does such a special job selecting the music and really working on that choreography to take full advantage of the music she's chosen. This is the combination pass. Front layout with a full twist right into another one. That's now 0.3 of a point bonus when you add it's C plus C. So it's a C skill into a C skill. And that's another combination pass, a lot of bonus. I think she has 0.8 of a point bonus in that routine.
Maddie Desch for Alabama led them off with a 9.8. That brings up Alonza Cloffer, the junior from New Jersey.
Alonza does a nice job with the wolf turn. Always the challenge of making that skill look elegant. It's not the most elegant position, obviously. Very smooth connecting those. That's her acrobatic series. And they're being a lot pickier this year, the judges are, in making sure that they make that connection. They cannot stop the movement. They can also not stand up between and straighten those legs too much and then bend them again to go into the back handsprings. Cat leap into the side aerial.
Alabama looks really comfortable tonight in this game.
They have a superb beam coach in Dana Duckworth. She was a great beam worker herself as a competitor. Oh, just lost right at the end, just over-rotated that 1.5 twist, took the big step forward, but the routine, as you said, so calm, so confident. Bit of form issue. Now we're seeing it in slow motion. You can get a good shot of where the judges sit, right on the side of the beam, so they can really see and nitpick on the form throughout the routine.
We saw her on the bars. Let's see what Reagan Smith, the freshman from Louisville, Texas, can do on the floor. She loves to perform, and I have seen her come out of her shell this year.
college gymnastics, this is a four-sided stage, so she can do so much with the music and her love of performing. There's the control. Notice how she landed chest up high, stuck the landing on 2 feet.
The music is RuPaul.
Oh, that's a shame. This is a new pass for Reagan. Elite gymnasts do not do these bounding passes.
Right.
So they have to learn them when they come to college because they're worth a lot of bonus. They're easier on the body, so it's a good pass for her to do. Just really has to get the timing of it.
Yeah, basically it's an easy pass for her, but you got to get the timing just right.
Sometimes something can be so easy, it's hard if you understand that move. Tight double back. Boy, does she have those landings down pat.
And that's unfortunate for Reagan Smith. One of the reasons that she decided to bow out of elite competition was trouble with that ankle, and unfortunately, she's not going to be happy with this.
This will be a good pass for her. It's a back 1.5. She just mistimed the block. Was a little under-rotated on the 1.5 and just couldn't get herself in position to bounce off the floor into the second somersault.
Kathy, let's talk a little bit about the keys to succeeding on beam.
Well, I mentioned about tempo and rhythm. They're really going to look for that to make sure that those acrobatic series and dance series are connected. And of course, the difficulty, there's an added incentive to do harder dismounts. We may see that here, and then polish.
This is one of those exciting freshmen, Ella Burgess from Florida.
And she had troubles last week. Nerves got to her. She had 2 falls. So this is a wonderful opportunity.
Scored only an 8.55 last week and fell on that sequence.
Look at that.
Wow.
Solid as can be. One arm back handspring into the layout step out. I love the little things. Look how beautiful her releve is when she pops that and goes up on her toes right there. It really stretches through the arch of her foot. Nice polished routine, aerial cartwheel to a full. Well done, good for her. So wonderful when you see somebody come back from a broken balance beam routine, falling twice, and to get back up there and just nail it. Nice job on that one arm back handspring. Look how aggressively she attacked the landing. It's exactly the way you have to work beam. Unafraid.
Talk about some of the keys to scoring well on floor, Kathy.
Well, the value skills, even though the whole routine is judged, look at the leaps, jumps, turns, and tumbling. All of them have to be done to a certain standard to get credit. And then artistry, now that's the tricky part for the judges, but it's an area of the code of points with the most tools to separate. It's the polish. Every movement has a correct posture, precise footwork, sufficient amplitude, and of course flexibility on all the skills that need to show the full split. And then the bounding and last pass bonus. This is going to be fun. We saw the full twist to the full twist, those bounding passes. But look for double backs at the end of the routine for bonus.
Reagan Smith had an 8.9. Remember, 6 athletes compete. You keep just the best 5 scores. So that will likely be the score that is dropped, assuming that the rest of the routines go well. This brings up Emma LaPinta, the sophomore from Texas. Used to do her club training at Kurt Thomas Gymnastics in the Dallas area.
Triple twist. That's a big E pass. One of the more difficult passes, technically very difficult.
Had her career high of 9.875 on floor against UCLA last March at home at Oklahoma.
I love that KJ told us her job is to stay with the beat. She has to listen to her music on AirPods or whatever you call them to hear the beat and stay with it, with the choreography. These loops could be just a little bit cleaner in the air, really show off that perfect picture in the air. Final pass, there's the double back, 10th of a point bonus. She gave up some though with that big step out of it. So good routine, good to see her in the lineup. So love this triple twist. Not many gymnasts in college do it. It's technically very difficult and it's also hard to hold your form. Notice her legs crossed in the air. Judges will have to deduct. I love that kick. And arch back, just launches herself into this bounding pass. Front fold to front layout. She's like, yeah, I was almost with the music.
Makari Doggett, now the freshman from Ohio, up for Alabama. Their scores are 9-8 for Desch, 9-8-7-5 for Cloffer, and Ella Burgess a 9-8-5.
Very nice form on the back handspring layout step out. I can see why Dana is so excited about this team because you can see that they could even get better. And they're already so clean. Look at the position on those leaps. Toes pointed at the very height of the jump. On the switch half, that's one of the most difficult leaps. 5
freshmen on this team. 2 of them came at the semester break. But as you mentioned earlier, Kathy, many of them already giving important contributions to the Crimson Tide already.
Really, she has got to be so proud of this team to come back from last week and to just turn the page on that and be the beam team they can be.
Jade Dagovea.
And this could possibly be one of the most interesting routines you'll see. It will draw you in musically and choreographically. Nice front layout to front double twist. Very difficult, complicated pass.
Emma LaPinta was rewarded for staying on beat, Kathy, a career high 9-9.
Beautiful choreography to that music, really worked well, the tumble down to the floor. Really wanted you to hear the special quality of the musicality. She could show off her musicality there, the movement. Oh! An impeccable, uncanny awareness of that line.
And saved it.
And saved it. They will take a little deduction. It was slightly awkward, but she didn't give up the 10th of a point.
She's very intense. What do you think of the style?
Oh, it suits her. It just, as I said, it will draw you in, both the music and the choreography. It just suits her movement.
Coach Kindler says this young lady has fire in her eyes, and so they take advantage of that intensity in her choreography. Now, I know you're looking forward to this routine. This is freshman Luisa Blanco, and boy, she's a elegant young gymnast.
Breath of fresh air. I cannot tell you how exquisite her work is. Oh, gave up a slight little balance check. Just watch her feet. I could literally watch a close-up of her footwork. Sets up her acro series. Look at the form throughout the entire series. The moment, the split second her foot leaves the beam, it points to leave the beam.
Did her club training at World Olympic Gymnastic Academy in the Dallas area. Of course, so many elite gymnasts came out of that program, and you can see that execution and polish on her.
Absolutely. When I watched her warm up, you could just see the training that has just been like etched into her DNA. Would have gotten that split half just a little further around, but the gorgeous pictures that she makes throughout this routine.
Who's coming after Makari Doggett had a 9-9. So good scores all between 9-8 and 9-9 for Alabama so far on the beam.
This beam work is just head and shoulders above so many other great balance beam workers. That is just truly special.
This is an example, we said at the top of the show, how excited Dana Duckworth is about the freshmen and what they contribute. That's spectacular gymnastics, Kathy.
Absolutely. I mean, just exquisite form. Her footwork is to die for. There is not a moment in this routine that she gets out of place. It's just picture perfect. Lovely.
So a lot to be excited about for the Crimson Tide. They are trailing the Oklahoma Sooners by about a half a point, but things looking good for Alabama tonight and into the future. Anastasia Webb now for the Sooners, coming after Jade Degovea, got a 9.875.
And like her teammate Jade, she just oozes personality in her performance. Beautiful form on the back 1.5 to the front full. Toes pointed throughout.
Averaged over 9.9 last year, all season long on this event.
Just love how big the performance is. They perform all out. Little short of split on those leaps. Judges should take a little deduction. That's hard to do when a performance is going so well, but that's a little flaw. Boy, what a command of the floor, because this is not an easy arena to be the visiting team.
No kidding.
And yet they are taking ownership and really performing big. These were a little short. You can see that she does not hit the full split on either jump. Sometimes you're just tight in the hips. You got to release them to show your full flexibility.
Coach Kindler said that the only thing that's wrong with Anastasia Webb is I wish she knew how good she was. And it shows in her performance, however. Great style. Emily Gaskins now coming after freshman Luisa Blanco, earned a well-deserved 9.925.
So Lexi Graber would normally go in this anchor position, but they are being very cautious with Lexi. She had a lower leg, kind of a nagging injury even from last year, and then the fall on beam was a little hard on it, so they're being cautious.
She was their anchor performer, Lexi Graber was, last week at the meet against Alabama. Landed and twisted her ankle and fell from the beam.
That's a little bit short of that split. Very difficult split half sideways on the beam. Not an easy jump to do, and especially to do well.
Gaskins, a sophomore from Coral Springs, Florida.
Kudos to her, though, for stepping in this spot because it was a last-minute decision. I know she had some warning, but the decision was going to be made later. A little short on that first split, didn't quite get the full split in the air.
Did most of her club training at Cincinnati Gymnastics. Had a 9.9 at the NCAA Regionals last year.
Really nice job. Step into that anchor position. Yes, get excited. Good for you.
And a great beam rotation for the home team, the Crimson Tide. The low score, a 9.8. And the high score, a 9.925 from young freshman Luisa Blanco. In fact, the two highest scores are both from freshmen, Doggett and Blanco, once again validating just how much potential is there with the freshman class here for Alabama. Anastasia Webb gets a 9.925 from the judges, and that brings up Maggie Nichols, and you see her average. She expects 9.9 plus out of herself in every performance in college.
And she really wanted a different routine, wanted to show a different part of her personality, have a little bit more fun, be a little bit sassier. Back 1.5 twist, watch this, through to a double back. Again, that uncanny air sense that she has. She can just drop into a perfect landing.
2 full seasons, she scored what's known as the Gym Slam, which is a perfect 10 on all 4 different apparatus.
I love that. Every time she does that layout, walkover, it's just gorgeous. Very difficult leaps and done well. Closes out with very difficult pike double back. Done well and with ease, good for her.
So they'll drop the low score of Reagan Smith to 8.9 because that'll likely be a very big score for the Sooners. Everything else from 9.875 up to 9.925 for their rotation.
How fun to see her doing so much more difficulty this year. Last year, she had to manage some injuries and really had to water down floor exercise. She is going all out in her senior year, and it is fun to watch.
So we're seeing some high-quality gymnastics. There is the 2-time NCAA all-around champion and a young lady who is poised to be one of the greatest collegiate gymnasts in the history of the sport in her senior year, and what contributions she has made to the Oklahoma Sooners. Talk about one of the great programs in history, of course, that is the Crimson Tide. Dana Duckworth is with us now, and Dana, improved team score on all 3 apparatus versus your last week against Auburn. Tell us how you feel about your team at this point tonight. They look good.
They are focused, they are disciplined, and they're doing exactly what we asked them to do, stay in the moment. I am so proud of that beam performance. You know, when Lexi had to be pulled out and Emily had to step in, that was huge. Lexi's the toughest human being that I know. For her to be able to pull out vault and bars knowing that she was in pain, it was just the teamwork that took place. These ladies have so much love for one another. There is a beautiful chemistry going on, and it is just one big Bama bubble. You can feel the energy. So I would say I'm very proud of the first 3 events, but we got to stay in the moment and finish floor.
Well, I was just going to ask, you've got floor exercise. What are you going to go tell your team? This is their stage. This is their arena.
Well, I just pulled them together and I just said, we are doing a great job staying present. So I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to trust yourself. This is probably the most prepared Alabama team we have had this early in the season. And so if they just trust their preparation and they are going to be confident, I think we're going to put on a great show. We're going to end this meet with awesomeness, and that's what we want to do. So roll Tide.
All right, we wish you well in the final rotation, Dana. The score, by the way, for Maggie Nichols was a 9.975 for the Sooners on floor, and young Luisa Blanco a 9.925 for the Crimson Tide on the beam. Final rotations when we come back.
It did bring our whole team together and brought us to be a family, and that changed our whole motto throughout the whole season, and we did it for Dave.
Our team is a much more grateful team now, I believe. When they go into the gym, there's way more joy involved in what they're doing because they did it for a completely different purpose last year, and it affected them for the rest of their life.
Last year, the Oklahoma Sooners ran the table undefeated and won the national championship. Midway through the season, Dave Richardson passed away, the husband of Jen Richardson, the athletic trainer for the OU team. And so they used that moment as a bit of inspiration for the team to think of a bigger purpose, and it led them to an incredible season in 2019. First team in NCAA history to score 198 in an opening meet. They won their 8th consecutive Big 12 championship. They were #1 all season long and won their 4th NCAA championship. So all of our best wishes to Jen Richardson. And she and Dave have a little girl named Joey who's 4, and she's thriving, and someday she'll be a gymnast too. Don't go away. The final rotation when we come back to Tuscaloosa, Oklahoma, and Alabama. Set for the 4th and final rotation. Quick recap on the meet storyline to this point. Oklahoma against Alabama. After the first rotation, Oklahoma was leading by .325. But Alabama had 5 season high scores in their first rotation. After the second rotation, Oklahoma extends their lead to .525. They counted 5 scores of 9-9 or better, and Maggie Nichols, of course, had that first perfect 10 for the Sooners. After the third rotation, Oklahoma has held on to its lead by .675, and they've had 12 scores of 9-9 or better. Good news for the Crimson Tide and those painted fans is Alabama is on target for a season high. They've had 14 scores tonight that either matched or improved last week's opening competition against Auburn. So even though Oklahoma is in the lead by just under 7/10 of a point, Alabama having a really strong night. They'll go to floor and finish it out in front of a very large and appreciative crowd here in Coleman Coliseum. Now the Sooners move to the beam, which has been the forte for KJ Kindler and her team. You see right there, no one this year so far in NCAA has scored a 198, which is kind of a magic number in collegiate gymnastics, but Oklahoma has a shot with a 49.25. If they can get that on beam, they could score the first 198 of the NCAA season. It's in their hands right now. Harry Thomas will be the leadoff performer, the junior from Coral Springs, Florida.
KJ has described this season thus far as developing. They've had interesting experiences thus far. And so she's still learning, really, about this team and how they respond in competition. Side somersault. You don't often see those on balance beam.
Much of Oklahoma's lineup from last year is back this season. Of course, they're missing Nicole Lehrman, who was always solid there.
A little bit soft with the arms on that back handspring into the layout, step out, but so secure on the landing. Now we haven't seen those leaps from the side. Our angle's different, but I have a feeling she was a little bit short of split on the first 2 leaps.
Harry Thomas, the transfer from Maryland, normally contributes on bars. She only did 1 beam routine last season for the Sooners and had a 9.825.
I do enjoy KJ's choreography on balance beam. She really strives for unique choreography on presentation, really entertaining routines. Oh, little step there, little slide of the foot on the landing. Nice job, however, to really start off strong. You can tell she's just barely gets to that split position. Maybe a single frame in the video would have hit that split, but nice job on that straddle split, however, in the air.
They're pumping up the volume here in the Coleman Coliseum. Shea Mahoney will get the leadoff spot for the Crimson Tide on floor.
And sometimes the tricky thing, your first meet in front of your home crowd on this event, you have to manage your endurance too. You want to dance all out, but you need the energy for the tumbling as well. Nice high tuck double back. That's a large lunge, however, they should take a slight deduction there. I love the way she finishes every pose. It's just so polished. On full front layout. Better job absorbing that landing. Just a little short of rotation on pike double back, chest was down. But what a big performance. When you can outshine the crystals on your leotard with your personality, you've done something. I mean, she just
Go back
lights
over
up.
to the beam for the Oklahoma Sooners. This young lady, pretty special to me, Jenna Dunn, freshman from Oklahoma City, did her club training at Bart Connor Gymnastics. She started as a 6-year-old, and under the coaching of Christian Ivanoff and Taylor Spears, the former NCAA champion on the beam. She was the junior Olympic national champion on beam. So here is a freshman walk-on, and she's not only competing in prime time on ESPN2 for the #1 Oklahoma Sooners on beam of all things. A lot
Doesn't
of young
get any better
ladies.
than that.
There's a lot of young girls in this country that dream of having a shot at competing for a great team, and couldn't be more proud of this young lady. So forgive me for boasting a little bit, but she has earned everything that she has received.
Triple series, 2 back handspring layout step out. Look how confident she is in this situation. Nice job trying to put those positions in the air. And what a night to do this on. Princess and Cake Night, superheroes and princess. I mean, this is a dream come true, and she handles it absolutely beautifully. Well done, put your crown on. That's awesome.
She competed in the first meet at the Collegiate Challenge in Anaheim. She looked nervous. She was stronger in the second meet, and here she is now in the lineup for KJ Kindler's what is normally one of the best beam teams in the country.
Good job, Bart Connor Gymnastics Academy.
I'm proud of this young lady. Good friends with her family, Darren and Mina. They're here. They've traveled all around the country to cheer her on, so that's a great moment for a young walk-on gymnast at the Sooners. Griffin James now, the sophomore from Virginia Beach, Virginia, coming after Shay Mahoney, led them off with a very solid 9.825.
Good power on tuck full in. Nice job on the landing. Talk to Dana about who does the choreography, and now a lot of collaboration. Asia Sims, who was a great competitor here for Alabama and now the volunteer assistant coach, helped with some of the choreography. Dana does most of it still. I think Nikki Guerrera, you remember her great balance beam work. She helped out with some of the choreography on some of the routines. Great job. Boy, they are having a terrific meet.
They really are, and they're having to replace some of their stars from previous years, like Ariana Guerra was a great 3-event person and particularly good on floor. Abby Armbrecht, normally you could count on her on floor, but of course those 2 young ladies have graduated, so people like Griffin James are stepping up.
She showcased good difficulty opening with that full in. That's a 1.5 twist, that last element on that pass. Her chest was a little down on it.
Coach Duckworth said her endurance is better this season, and they're seeing that. They've had a really great preseason conditioning program. They have new head coach who's helping with their fitness. Dave Alberanes has come in and helped with strength and conditioning, and I think it's showing up with the endurance of these gymnasts from Alabama. As we go back to beam. So Jenna Dunn has the second 9.875 in a row for Oklahoma, and this is Carly Woodard. She's a specialist here.
We so often see the acrobatic series back handspring layout step out. Watch this. Side aerial to a back handspring is her acrobatic series. Nice to see something different. And actually a very difficult pass. When you do that turning element, the aerial cartwheel, you really have to square up to set up the back handspring.
Her high last year was a 9.95. She hit 16 of 17 beam routines and averaged 9.92.
Shows off a pretty split position. Like to see maybe a little bit more amplitude, meaning the hips really rise and go higher on those leaps, but love the position.
Oklahoma with still about a 0.7 of a point lead over Alabama. Remember, a fall from the apparatus is a 0.5 point, so Oklahoma needs to stay solid here.
Nice finesse on that landing.
Here is Olympian Shalyn Olson, and really one of the most difficult routines in collegiate gymnastics, Kathy. She has the potential to do the most difficult.
And this is half of her elite routine, so she has to do 4 tumbling passes when she tries out for the Olympic team. But the passes she will do here, you're right, are the most difficult in collegiate gymnastics. She'll open with a double-double, a double backflip with 2 twists. Full in, full out.
Wow.
Easy.
Talk about her managing the NCAA and the elite career. She'll have to travel up to Canada a couple of times during this year to compete in national events in Canada, keep her name in the mix for that Olympic spot, and then in May, we'll have the Canadian Nationals, where she'll try to earn a spot. She helped the Canadian team earn qualification into the Olympics in Tokyo.
Big improvement on her leaps and her jumps. Just that 3rd jump in that series needs a little bit more work. Really show off the position. Look at that front through to a tuck double back. No one flips easier than Shalyn Olson. Her power is sort of surprising. It doesn't look like she's bringing
It's all fast twitch, isn't it?
Woo. She flips so quick.
2018, she was a silver medalist on the vault at the World Championships behind the one and only Simone Biles.
Even in slow motion, this is complex. Look at that. Just it's all flip and all twist from start to finish.
For those of you who see that extra mat, you are allowed to use a supplemental mat just to make sure you don't sting your ankles, as long as you have white tape lines on the mat indicating the out-of-bounds areas. Anastasia Webb now on the beam for the Sooners. Carly Woodard a 9.9.
And the last half of this lineup are truly spectacular balance beam workers. The pace and tempo, the rhythm of this routine is quite special. She really keeps it moving. She changes up from sharp movements. Clean, very secure on her acro series.
Number 2 returning score on beam last year for the Sooners, 9.925 average.
Little hesitation between that front aerial into the split jump. We're now going to probably see more of those combinations of dance and acro together. And if they hesitate like that, or if there's an adjustment with the foot, they won't get the connection value. And it's not really a deduction to say that they won't get that bonus for that particular combination. Aerial cartwheel, very clean,
nice.
full, just elegantly drops it in for a stuck landing.
And the scores so far for the Sooners there really strong. 2 9.875s and 9.9. And KJ Kindler, she somehow has the magic touch on beam. She gets the 4th really solid hit routine in a row for the #1 team in the nation. Remember, a 49.25 on beam in this rotation, which they're on pace to score, would allow them to get the first 198 in the nation this year so far. As we go to Maddie Desch coming up after Shalyn Olson got a strong 9.825 for Alabama.
And watch the pop off the floor in her tumbling. She is such a powerful tumbler. Really gets good lift. A little bit of a pop back after the double pile. This is a fun pass. It just keeps going back 1.5. Brandy.
Oh, yes.
Split jump front tuck. And then runs right into her lead pass. How fun. They really took their pre-season conditioning seriously, and it is paying off. You can see this is just very well prepared team. They're conditioned. Should be a big double back at the end of the pass. Look at the landing.
You can really see the improved fitness level. She landed that double back so high and effortlessly, Kathy.
Yes, absolutely. And that's done with the power, but also the technique. Really uses her arms, lifts, sets up each skill. How fun is that pass? Really nice work throughout this routine. And you could see the little things that can be improved. Just clean up little sections of the dance, and she's on her way.
Anastasia Webb score in 9.95, a 39.625 for her all-around effort today as we move to Reagan Smith to see if she can recover from that stumble on the floor. This is where she shines,
Oh,
Kathy.
absolutely. That mount on beam, so unique, so special. Her club coach, Kim Zemeska, her dad does a wonderful job training her athletes on this event. Give up a little balance break there. And when you lift your foot up to correct your balance and then bend over at the waist, it's a more significant deduction.
For those of you who don't know her story, she was not only one of the best elite national team members for the U.S., but after the qualifying round in 2017 at the World Championship, she was a heavy favorite to win the all-around and sprained her ankle just moments before the team marched out to compete in the final warm-up. And unfortunately had to sit on the sidelines. So her dreams to be a world champion were dashed. So it's great to see her thrive. We were.
Well, she's had a couple little mistakes on this beam, but this is a special beam routine, and it's going to be a phenomenal collegiate. Exactly. I can see what KJ, I know what KJ Kindler is telling her. Do not worry. You are building something special. We will get there. That is a gorgeous position in the air. That straddle, leap, full flexibility. But the routine is so unique. The composition, the choreography, the skill selection, it's all there for something really special.
A world champion with the U.S. team. She's a national champion, and surely she'll be an important contributor to the Sooners and the heir apparent to Maggie Nichols, hopefully, if she can hold it together through her collegiate career injuries-wise. Maddie Desch had a 9.9, and here is freshman Makari Duguette.
Oh, look at the technique on the pike full in.
Beautiful.
Of course, anytime you do something in a pike position versus the tuck, it's a more difficult, even though they're worth the same, we all know which one's more difficult.
Just the second gymnast in U.S. history to win the Junior Olympics in the all-around and every individual event. She did that in 2018.
A little out of position on that third jump. Front through to a high tuck double back. Excellent control on that landing. Really nice performance. And you know what? There's so much potential there to build on, too. She could be bigger with the performance, really flesh out the choreography. So the more comfortable she gets in going big, this one's just going to get better and better. Look at that, almost laid out. She is almost in a layout position, just subtly piked. Really good punch, lift, nice technique.
It's easy to see why Dana Duckworth is excited about this team. Enormous potential. And now to Maggie Nichols, the final performer. You see what she needs, a 9.725 to clinch the all-around title. Look at the day she's had. A 10, a 9.95, and a 9.975. Reagan Smith's score with 9.725 would likely be the score dropped, assuming this is a hit.
She does a beautiful front aerial and much more difficult to take it right into a back handspring layout. So you're combining the two common acrobatic series, but she puts them all together. Many of the gymnasts do the front aerial to the back handspring or the back handspring layout step out. She does them both. She's a nice combination of power. She's very athletic, but also very flexible. So she shows off those positions in the air, full split. And manages, even with those ankles really taped, to try to really push through and point. And again, I was gonna say it before she even landed. I expect to see a perfectly stuck landing because that's just Maggie.
That should be a t-shirt. That's just Maggie.
That's just Maggie. So there you go. She's a professional sticker. Front aerial, back handspring. Some gymnasts stop there, but she adds the layout step out. Excellent pass, just a little lean correction. Now this is what I love. She goes beyond the split. If she could just hold that toe point, that front toe, sometimes just doesn't quite hold the point. I'm being picky. It's a little thing, but when you're that close to perfect, you want it all.
Alonza Kloffer will have the anchor spot, which is normally reserved for Lexi Graber. We mentioned she has been dealing with this lower leg injury, so she did not do beam or floor. So Kloffer will wrap it up for the Crimson Tide here at home. Makari Doggett score a 9.925. Regardless of the score for Kloffer, Alabama will have higher team scores on all four apparatus tonight versus their competition last week. A really strong effort for the Crimson Tide.
Look at her teammates on the side. Oh, how fun. They're only in college gymnastics. They have something better than solar power here. They're teammate powered. I think that generates energy. Pike double back. Remember I said you do a double back at the end? That's a 1/10 of a point bonus this year. So an incentive to go big at the end. Oh, the happiness on her face says it all. Way to cap off a great meet.
They really had a great meet. They're not going to come close to the Sooners. The Sooners over 198 for the first effort of the season that any team in the country has gone over 198. They'll get a 198.25. Maggie Nichols' score is in there, a 9.9. So we'll come back with Alonza Kloffer's score and the final score of this meet. But both teams tonight had their best effort of the year. What a great night of gymnastics, guys.
I am thrilled for both of them.
Well, let's talk a little bit about tonight as we look at the final score. The first score over 198 this year, the Oklahoma Sooners look spectacular. They win by 0.85 over Alabama, who had a fantastic night. 1.375 more than last week and a 197.4. So a lot of enthusiasm around both of these teams, Kathy.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for Alabama. As I said coming in, I could tell last week this was a well-prepared team. And they just got unlucky on balance beam. They were magnificent today, and Oklahoma, almost everything we expected. A little unlucky for Reagan Smith, but there's so much there to build on. I think both teams have a great season.
So a great night of gymnastics for our producer, Kara Lagana. Great job on your first show, Kara. And Dan McVan, our director, and Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Bart Connor. Thanks for watching. Our final score, Oklahoma 198-25, Alabama 197-4. Coming up next, UFC Fight Flashback, McGregor versus Diaz 2. So long from Tuscaloosa.